Hi, welcome to the Modern Renaissance Show. My name is Ben Copeland. I'm the Modern Renaissance Man. You can join us each and every, I always say that, first and third Friday of every month at 8:30. Anyway, this is a show about Renaissance people, entrepreneur people. We try to look at diversity of activities people do, like diversity in businesses they do. Before we get there, I like to share a few little observations and things. One of the things that I found here that I find really interesting is people who need the money to go to college have real trouble getting the money going to college. If you're from a fairly wealthy family, they seem to be able to come up with the bucks without too much problem. If you're from a very low income family, they seem to be able to come up with the bucks. But if you're basically sort of a middle class person and you have a house and a couple cars, they're sort of like, well, you need to sell your house and a couple cars and you can go to college. Don't understand that. I've seen that. That's a strange issue. We're even actually giving college money to people who are illegal immigrants, is what I saw in the paper the other day. The other thing that I was observing is that why don't we just go ahead and go to Mars? You know, let's quit dinking around the shuttle. It's neat. It's done its thing. It wasn't really even supposed to be that big. It was supposed to be a little thing until the military wanted to expand it. But let's go to Mars. We can build a space station, drive out there. I mean, once you're in space, you don't need to worry about the re-entry here. Let's send somebody there. We haven't done anything neat since, the big thing in 1969 when Kennedy said we were going to put somebody on the moon. I'd like to see Bush, somebody, step forward. Let's go to Mars. Send somebody there. We're spending all these big bucks with all these neat things. We don't need a monster ship to go there, These people are living up in tin cans anyway. I'm sure they can handle a few months on the road there and back. I'm sure you'll find plenty of volunteers. Shoot, ask me. I would do it too. The other thing is that please send me an email. I have still yet to date basically received my one email, and it was a hate email. Before the show even aired, this woman sent me a note. And all she said, no name, no dear Ben, no dear Renaissance Man, kiss my grits, nothing like that. It just said, what about the modern Renaissance woman? So I sent her a nice reply and said, well, my first guest I actually asked to be on the show was a woman who unfortunately turned me down at the time. I was actually supposed to have a guest here in these last few episodes, but she's had some conflicts. So we're going to work on the idea because I know there are Renaissance women out there as well as Renaissance men. Send me a nice email. Send me any email. I have not received any email yet. It'd be sort of nice to know maybe somebody's watching the show, and even if you're complaining, send me a note. The last thing I'm going to say is Vin Diesel, up-and-coming dramatic actor. Pay attention to him. If you haven't seen a Vin Diesel movie, watch him. It just warms my heart when I see the movies that he's in. Triple X movie was just so touching, and I've heard the one about the one about and the one with the children. I have not seen yet, but I've heard some good things. Vin Diesel, he's up and coming. Watch out for him. He's going to be in front of the Academy Awards here soon. I can feel it coming. Anyway. Before we get farther to the show, we do what I actually consider to be a little more serious side. We present an issue called Soapbox. The issue I'd like to address tonight sort of ties in something that happened recently. Now, we're actually filming this in August, and you're seeing this in October or November. How can a country allow a guy who's basically wanted in another country to phone in to sue somebody? I don't understand how Roman Polanski, who's wanted for a crime, gets to phone in. What happened to the being addressed by your accusers? I think the magazine, I guess it was Vanity Fair, but they must be sort of weaned out. I think if somebody said, I'm accusing Ben of something, but now call in and complain, I don't agree with that. And what this leads me to is victims' rights. Where are the rights for the victim? The state prosecutes, and the state reaps benefits. If somebody commits a crime and they charge them a big fine, who gets the money? The state, the government. Where are the victims' rights? We have the ACLU out there, and they're promoting criminal rights. So I don't think we ought to be beating up our prisoners in prisons. Yeah, don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. They shouldn't be allowed to be able to log on to the internet just any old time and file lawsuits. They shouldn't be able to make big profits writing books without money going in restitution to the victims. Now, if you do the time, you do the crime, you need to pay back. Part of paying back is for what you've done to somebody. I think victims need to be looked at a little bit more. We need an ACLU protecting the victims. You know, when somebody steals somebody, or somebody kills somebody, somebody hurts somebody, where's the victim restitution? They have to file a criminal suit. There's nobody actually to stand up for them. They have to hire their own lawyer because the government doesn't even stand up for them. Where's the victim's rights? If you've been abused by somebody and you haven't had restitution, call your politicians. Maybe they'll listen. That's the only way it's going to get done. Get some laws here to help the victims of the crimes. Let's don't just help the criminals. Rehabilitation is basically making restitution for what you've done to somebody. And that's the way I feel. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to some tunes. Trip Rogers and our guest again this week with Trip, Jeff Chester. All right, Trip, Jeff, excellent. Come over here and join for a little bit here. We're going to do a short discussion show this evening. I've been asked by a few people to actually show something of the things of why I consider myself to be a modern Renaissance man. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a section here. I'm actually going to insert, edit into the show. We're going to show you some a little tour of the deck that I've built on the house that I currently live in. It's a mega project, and I guess since we don't have the film here, y'all going to have to wait and actually have to watch the. You're going to have to watch the show. That's the only way you're going to see it. So it'll be a surprise for you, and then I'll superimpose y'all maybe sitting up on top of the plane. That would be cool. I'd check into that. Since we didn't have a green screen, that'd be a real challenge. Anyway, with that, so we're going to have a little discussion here, and one of the things that I wanted to ask Jeff about. Jeff is the operator manager with the great Aunt Stella.
Glorified slumlord.
Okay. And in the last show, he was talking about that. It's sort of the jack of all trades with regard to the business there. Everything from being the politically correct person to dealing with the contractors and the remodeling and the overhauling and the stuff like that.
And I do everything from in managing a building, which I had no idea what all it entailed as far as running or operating a building, and not just a regular Monday through Friday 9 to 5 kind of building. This is where we have a charter elementary school with about 80 students, K through 5 grade in there. We've got various offices for several nonprofit organizations, plus all the different events that we have there. Today there was an all-day seminar and conference with the International Interior Design Association. Had a big conference there. This weekend there's a wedding and reception going on. We had the #1 Christian rock band from Russia was at the Stella Center about a month ago. So it's always been and continues to be just an extremely diverse building with a lot of different things happening in it. And I'm the one who's there kind of trying to keep it all reined in and some semblance of control over it.
That control thing sort of leads into that. Here you've done, you said you managed Comedy Talent.
Right, I was an agent for stand-up comics.
Communication major.
I taught English in Taiwan. And I play in a band.
You went over in Scotland. You're in a couple bands actually, so playing now.
Right.
What gets you satisfaction? What gives you the best satisfaction? I mean,
playing music. It is the outlet for me, and I think Tripp would agree, or anybody that plays music, or dances, or paints, or any sort of thing like that. But I think music is something special. It is an expression of our innermost being. It is, in a lot of ways, our child. When you create a song or you create a CD, that's your child that you put out there to be either loved or hated by the masses, or somewhere in between. And for as many people that may dislike the music that I play, there could be a million that dislike it. But if there's one person who comes up to me and says, that song really meant something to me, or your music really touches me, then that makes it all worthwhile. Sure. And there's the satisfaction that I get out of that I can't compare it to anything else, really.
Well, on that note, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over, pause here, and we're going to move over and do the tour of the deck. And what I'd like to do is then we'll come back and let's wrap up with a song. Obviously, let's see the passion between the two of you. Obviously,
we're very close.
Watching.
Is your wife watching?
Is at least one of you is wearing a skirt.
Right.
Just kidding.
Draw your own conclusions.
I'm part Scottish too, so I want to say that. Anyway, we're going to switch over and we're going to hear let's catch these last little tunes. I think we'll have to have a short gig, but let's go for it.
All right.
And we're going to jump in here with the video here while they're walking up. Hi. Welcome to the home of the Modern Renaissance Man. A tour of my deck project. It's taken me approximately 2 years, 900 hours to do this project. Pretty detailed. Reached final approval last August. Still got a lot to do, a lot of little touch-up stuff to do. However, I've been putting it off since I've basically been out of work. However, I'm looking forward to picking it back up on, working with it. Hopefully you'll get inspired to be a Renaissance deck builder yourself. So now let's take a little tour and some of the features of this project and some of the things I'm really happy with. First, let's start with the little shot of the gazebo I was just sitting in. Give it a little bit wider shot here so you can see more of what it looks like. A triangular system. what I called cantilever benches. I'll give you another shot later. You can actually see they stick out beyond the deck. See the rails. Now like a nice wide rail, put on a paper plate and glass, and it doesn't fall off. This shot gives you a view going up the stairs to the second level deck. And if you notice on the lower left hand side, you'll see a bench. Happens to be over the electrical meter. Well, one way to get around having a meter at the bench height is to create a little trick, and I'll show you that. What looks like a bench is an access hatch. You get in and do work. It's pretty sturdy. You can hear that maybe. A little more detail on the upper deck. Stairs going up. Stairs to go into the lower deck. As you can see, there's a porch roof under the upper deck. That's actually one of my favorite places to set, and I looked forward to when I was building it to be able to set in rainstorms. Let's move to the upper deck. Looking down the stairs, you get a little bit better view, bigger view of the gazebo. The pole you see going up, there's a little windmill that we put in. So it adds an interesting little feature. Panning over into the upper deck. Nice wide rails. What do you do with leftover wood and concrete? Make an umbrella stand and sort of an Adirondack lounger type chair. Actually folds down. Got some more work I'm going to do with it. Put some wheels on it. That leads to the spiral staircase going down. I'll show you some more of that in just a moment. This section that you see, I've actually planned to close in and make a little sitting room coming off that window there in the center. Last window there on the left. And make a little sitting room because that window goes in to the master bedroom. I'm going to convert that into a door. And that's why these posts are still sticking up, because that'll be the supports for the ceiling structure. Pretty proud of the staircase here. I designed it myself. Did some research. Learned the code issues. You see it just goes on down and comes underneath. Nice top rail for it. Here's a view underneath the porch. Looking at the spiral staircase. So it winds on down into a platform. Give you an idea of the porch here. Let's move over. I've got in a temporary ceiling fan. Haven't wired it in. Let me give you an idea of the porch here. Shallow roof, but it doesn't have to support much weight. Let's move on out to the outside view. This gives you a pretty good shot here of how the spiral comes down. In the upper right hand corner, you see where the room's going to be coming out of that window with the door. You can see the roof under the upper deck. Here's a view from the backyard. You can see the upper deck, pretty large. You can see the porch underneath it. A lot of lattice work to be done yet around various places of the deck. A lot of finishing, staining. This is the swing I was telling you about earlier. This is something I built some time ago. One of the nice things about it was right when I went to do the roof, my wife and children gave me a nice pneumatic nailer for Father's Day. As they say, woof, woof, woof. It's one of those neat tools that made the job a whole lot easier and faster. It is the tool, though, you have to be very careful with. Pen over here, I'm going to show you something that I did when we first came in the house. Designed the tree house here. Let's finish up here with an overall view. A little panning to show you the full deck. That goes from the underneath the porch up to the middle deck, or lower deck is what I call it. And stairs that go to the upper. Another thing that Renaissance people do is have good Renaissance friends. The air conditioner that you see right there died. The previous one died on July 4th here this year, 2005. And fortunately, I had a good friend who knows HVAC, and we got a unit in about 4 hours. So if you don't have Renaissance friends, you're a Renaissance person, find them. And if you're not a Renaissance person, work at being one. And that concludes the tour. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll get back to our show. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trip. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff, you're going to have to join us again, hopefully.
Would love to.
Love to have you here. We can get you addicted to it, and you're coming back regularly.
I'm already jonesing for the next time.
I hear you. Me too.
You heard my nose flute
I
song?
like a nose flute.
Woo.
Oh, you know, whoa. You need to, yeah, that's right.
Which one?
Wild
Oh, that's a hard one too. I know the words. I need the words. Wild thing. You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. Shake, shake. Ow!
First.
Well, I think you move me. But X-Lex don't show, folks, show. Go on. Hold me. You move me. Wow. You make my heart sing. You make everything
thing. I think you want me.
I think you got dreams, son. Go on. Hold me tight. I love you. Wow, babe. Oh, you make my heart sing. Woo! Come on. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Wow, babe. Come on. Shake it, wow, babe. Woo! Come on. If not, just play with your strings. Wow, see? There's a big finish.
Anyway, I'm still here at the desk instead of getting up saying goodbyes to the floor, but what I'm going to do is basically say thanks to everybody who helped put on the show, particularly the crew. Dano, he's the man. Thank my wife Jennifer for handling the green room, and Kate Copeland, my best girl. Thank you for watching the Modern Renaissance Man. We come on the first and third Fridays at 8:30, Access Channel 21. Have a good evening.